What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about here on a daily basis. We got a lot going on here today already that we will cover here in this video. Multiple things have been happening here in the last 48 hours. This year end is just getting crazy. So let's jump right in here. Thank you so much for liking and sharing these videos. And 2022, what a year. What a year. Will 2023 be just as crazy? Yeah. So here we go. Let's jump right in. Yeah, so you can see here, Biden's big pandemic stimulus bill is helping get more than 100,000 homeless people into housing by the end of the year. Yeah, so this is part of the money that's been used here. Here's the details on this. President Biden set up a lofty goalpost for tackling homelessness by a quarter over the next 2 years. That's according to an announcement from the White House this week, in which the Biden administration outlined its plan to build on homelessness reducing initiatives started during the pandemic. Through the American Rescue Plan, the big pandemic stimulus package passed in early 2021, shortly after Biden became president, the one that had the $1,400 stimulus checks, $40 billion of rent assistance, $9.9 billion of mortgage assistance, the $3,000 to $3,600 child tax credits, all that stuff in there. The administration also provided tens of billions of dollars in rent assistance, et cetera, which they highlighted in the full plan. Council on Homelessness, the federal government wants to mobilize additional American Rescue Plan funds to create more permanent affordable housing on a state level. The government wants to mobilize additional American Rescue Plan funds to create more permanent affordable housing on a state level. We've seen California doing this. I'm not sure what other states have. The Biden administration said and support local initiatives to curtail homelessness. American Rescue Plan money is already on track to secure permanent housing for more than 100,000 people through the end of 2022, the White House said. Quote, my plan offers a roadmap for not only getting people into housing, but also ensure that they have access to support services and income that allows them to thrive. It is a plan that is grounded in the best evidence and aims to improve equity and strengthen collaboration at all levels. Homeless advocacy groups are optimistic about the plan, praising ambitiousness of the 25% figures, as well as the fact that the plan prioritizes funding homelessness prevention channels, such as through healthcare and foster care systems. Yeah, and a lot of this with 40-year high inflation, rising rent costs, rising interest rates, making homes more and more costly, which has also raised the price on rent as well, because landlords and people that own homes are having to pay more as well, which makes rent go up even more. Electricity costs going up because remember that a large reason that electricity going up is because natural gas is a large source of electricity. It's the number one source of electricity, actually. And natural gas has soared in cost because natural gas and pretty much any type of gas coming out of the ground has gone up substantially here in the past year or more, all around the world, not just here in the U.S. If you've been watching my channel, you know this. Actually, in Europe, it's gone up even more than in the U.S. So, we're actually, gas has come down pretty significantly here recently in the U.S. But my quote here the other day is, I don't trust that for very long. I don't trust that as far as I can throw a barrel of oil. And I would guess that a barrel of oil would be pretty heavy. So I'm not sure how far I could throw that, but I would guess it wouldn't be that far. It wouldn't be that far. So oil prices, gas prices coming down for now. How long that will stay down, I wouldn't bet on it too long. So Yeah, we'll see here. Here's White House economic advisor Jared Bernstein talking about what's going to happen here shortly. We have a Republican Congress coming in here in the House. Here's what he has to say here. Take a listen.
What's going to happen over the next 2 years? You're an economist, but I know you have the president's ear on a lot of different things. So we got 2 years, that Republicans have the House. We don't have enough workers. A sort of an all-encompassing immigration bill is something that both sides all talk about wanting to have, Jared. That would help probably in a lot of different ways. Is there? It could be bipartisan since, you're not going to get anything done in the House anyway, any of these big spending deals, most likely anymore. Isn't that something that you could shift to? And every day we hear about what's happening down at the southern border, and not a lot of great things are happening. Why not take it on head on with the president?
I think you make a very reasonable suggestion there, Joe. And this is something that I think it was day 2 that when the president got here, that he sent up a comprehensive immigration reform bill to the Senate. Now, obviously, that was a symbolic move suggesting just how supportive this president has always been towards that policy. Now, you're talking about the next couple of years. I'm an old hat here. Under this hat, there's a little bit of gray hair left. And I can tell you from all my experience here in this town that the legislative agenda can always surprise you. And President Joe Biden is pretty masterful at pulling legislative rabbits out of hats. So I wouldn't count anything out. I would not decidedly not go to a place where, the next 2 years are legislatively dead. I don't think that at all. And when it comes to labor supply, you mentioned one part of the equation, which is more welcoming immigration reform. But there's also child and elder care. Now, I grant you, there's going to be some folks in the Republican Party who are not going to support that, but there are others who might. And if we want to improve the labor supply, the labor force participation rate, particularly for caregivers, disproportionately women, affordable, accessible child and elder care has been a part of our agenda. We have great ideas lined up, and I think that would be a smart place to look also.
I guess would the Fed predict 0.3% growth next year? That's not good. That's not good for anyone. But obviously, we're trying to vanquish inflation for the long term. Do you think there's going to be a recession, or do you think we'll have positive growth in 2023?
In a couple of questions, you've asked me to look out pretty far, and I got to say that the uncertainty margins around these forecasts are really uniquely large. I do think that there are, but I'm not going to evade your question too much. I do think that there are real headwinds in play that, as President Biden has said, certainly make a recession not inevitable by a long shot. I mentioned Goldman Sachs earlier. I think their recession probability is 35%. That's well below, of course, the market consensus. And I think one of the reasons for those more optimistic views, a soft or softish landing, is because of the momentum. We haven't talked about gas prices. $3.14 a gallon as of this morning. I just checked. That's down about $1.85 since the mid-June peak. Think about filling up a 20-gallon tank. That's $37 of savings. Do that a few times a month. You get some of the breathing room that you hear this president has talked about. That's a positive for consumer spending, which is 70% of the GDP. We also have a labor market that, as you and I have discussed, is still going strong, providing significant nominal wage gains. That's also going to help fuel consumer spending, for which the forecast remains pretty solid. So I think there's definitely a path to a strong, to a steady, to a stable transition that's non-recessionary.
Yeah, so let me know your thoughts here in the comments as we go here into Christmas holidays and a new year coming up here. 2022, what a year. What a year. Rising interest rates throughout the whole year. We've seen interest rates more than double here. Home mortgage rates went from under 2% really, and now to 7% or higher. They dipped a little bit here recently, really just because of mortgage demand. We really seen a lot of home mortgage companies just lower the interest rates on their own, just taking a kind of a shave on their own end here. And the Fed raised interest rates here yet again by 0.5%. And largely, the Fed is expected to raise interest rates here multiple times in 2023 yet again. This affects more than just home mortgage rates. This affects any type of interest rate. Credit card interest rates are not locked in. They're variable. So your credit card interest rates can be raised here every month even. When you go to buy a new car or a used car, that loan you get, or even a lease, that's basically a loan for per se. Those rates are much more expensive than they were even at the beginning of 2022. They're just sky high compared to where they were. And the average car loan nowadays, when you go to buy a car, is like $700 now, in that range, for a new car. So it's crazy how expensive cars have gotten, and homes have gotten. So the average home nowadays is in like the 400,000-ish range, and the interest alone compared to where we were, because interest rates have basically doubled on home mortgages, it costs like $1,000 a month more on average. Of course, this varies widely depending on where you live and the home price. Because some places you can get a really nice home for $400,000, and in some places you can't even buy a home for $400,000 at all. Can't even buy a shoebox for $400,000. But in a lot of places, that home literally costs $1,000 more a month just in interest, because of the size of the home, and the interest rate is going from like 3% or 2.85% to 7%. That's $1,000 more a month just in interest. Yeah, it's crazy here. So credit card interest rates going up, mortgage and home interest rates going up, which effectively has raised uh, rent rents as well, because you got to remember here that people that own homes, or people that are buying new homes to rent them out, it's costing them more. Electricity rates have gone up because of gas and natural gas prices. Remember that the bulk of electricity comes from stuff that comes out of the ground, natural gas and stuff like that. That's gone up. The only thing that really hasn't gone up here recently is things like solar and wind, because that stuff's already been built. And if anything, solar has actually gotten cheaper. You think about solar panels, the price of that has been coming down over the years. So this is why they want to try to build more solar and more wind. The price of gas is just going to get more and more expensive over the years. So the more the government can kind of diversify into that kind of stuff, the cheaper electricity and gas and stuff like that gets, and the more less dependent on that stuff, the kind of better. Even when you go to just fill up your gas tank, if the government uses less gas and diesel, um, it's supply and demand. So when we go to fill up our gas tanks, if the government's using millions of gallons less, that makes it cheaper at the gas pump for us because of supply and demand. The government's using less of it. It makes it cheaper for us because of supply and demand. There's less demand for it, so it makes it cheaper. If there's more demand for it, it makes the price go up. If you kind of get where I'm going here. Yeah, so all this has kind of been raising the price here on a lot of different things, pretty much across the board. Pretty much across the board. And we're seeing a little bit of a reprieve right now in gas prices, but yeah, how long will it last? I mean, are we all expecting it to last long term? I'm not. I'm not. Yeah. And I mean, I remember I was in high school and gas was below $1 a gallon. Now we're in the $3, $4 range. And just not long ago, it was $5 range. You're in California, $6, $7 range. And I mean, imagine where we're going to be in 5, 10 more years. Yeah. You know, I mean, God bless those people that put solar on their homes 10 years ago and have no electricity bills. They're probably laughing at all of us saying, yeah, I just seen Tesla actually had a they had a thing that they just put here. Tesla just announced that they have installed over 500,000 solar installations deployed. So 500,000 solar installations deployed here. So pretty cool. Think about that. 500,000 people have solar installed just by Tesla alone. Just by Tesla solar roof panels. If you didn't know, Tesla does solar roof panels. By the way, Elon Musk, the owner of Tesla, he's actually not the founder of Tesla, by the way, if you didn't know that. He just kind of bought the company. Interesting story there if you ever want to look that up. But he's been in the news here quite a lot recently. One of the world's richest men. He's not the world's richest man anymore. But Elon Musk says he'll change Twitter voting rules after polls said he should step down. Yeah, quite an interesting thing here. He said, as somebody said blue subscribers should be the only ones that can vote in policy-related polls. We actually have skin in the game. These are people that pay $8 a month for Twitter. And Elon Musk replied with, good point. Twitter will make that change. This was after Twitter had 17 million votes and voted to have him be voted out of him being the CEO, a poll that he initiated. I would have never done that after I paid $40 billion to own Twitter. I mean, it's just, I would have never had somebody else make that decision for me if I paid $40+ billion for a company. But now he's saying Twitter will make that change. The problem here is that, Elon Musk has been promoting free speech. He's been promoting free speech, and now that's not going to be free speech because now you're going to have to pay $8 to be involved in this free speech. So that's the problem with this. Yeah, this came after Elon Musk decided he's been doing a lot of very erratic things just all of a sudden. I mean, you guys can let me know your thoughts on this. Should he step down as head of Twitter? And 57.5% of people said yes. So now if he's going to step down as the head of Twitter, we will see. He'll still be the owner, but I guess he's probably regretting this decision. He said he will abide by the results of this poll. We will see. We will see. I also have a headline here that says Elon Musk is actively searching for a new Twitter CEO. So once again, we will see. So let me know your thoughts here in the comments. He's also trying to raise new funds here. He's trying to sell new shares of this at the same price of Twitter, as it's reportedly losing billions and billions of dollars. And also, you remember he could have solved world hunger. There was that story about he could have solved world hunger for, I think it was $6 or $7 billion. He spent $44 billion on Twitter. He could have solved at least a big part of world hunger with $6 or $7 billion. So, yeah, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts here. I'll keep you up to date here with everything going on here in our country on a daily basis. Make sure to click the subscribe button down below so you don't miss out on new videos. I'll keep you up to date here. And thanks for liking and sharing these videos. Mainstream media doesn't cover a lot of this stuff here, and I cover both sides of pretty much everything going on here. So you can click here to watch my newest video next, and you can click here to see new checks going out to millions of Americans that you might not even know about. So click on one of those videos. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.